So the first thing we want to talk about is exercise. Exercise is one of the two things that I've seen to be a huge factor when it comes to vision loss, either acute or progressive. So for the last 20 years, I have had patients with various vision loss conditions tell me this. They tell me that their vision seems to get better when they exercise and it gets worse when they don't. Now, how can that be? Why would exercise have an impact on the vision? Glad you asked. The reason it has such a tremendous impact, there's a lot of health benefits to exercise, we know that. But primarily, a lot of these eye conditions that we're dealing with are rooted in circulatory issues. So there's impaired blood flow to the eyes, reduced circulation. And when we exercise, we know we pump the blood through our bodies. We pump new, fresh, oxygenated blood to the eyes. We get rid of ocular toxins. So what does increasing blood flow do? It brings oxygen, it brings food, it brings nutrition to the eyes. It helps with detoxification of carbon dioxide, of cellular waste products, of acids, and all types of metabolites that have accumulated in the eye. So we need this flow, we need this circulation. All eye cells, retinal cells, photoreceptors are like mini versions of us. They need to take in air, they need to take in oxygen, and all different forms of macro and micronutrients into their body. We also need to eliminate wastes and carbon dioxide, all right? So these cells have to have that flow, that circulation. So regular exercise is going to activate peripheral blood flow, peripheral meaning to the hands, to the feet, and to the head, right? So when we're in a relatively inactive state, our blood maintains in our core. It stays and vitalizes our organs. So when we exercise, it brings the blood to the periphery, to our hands and our feet and our heads, and that's where our eyes are, right? Our brain and our eyes and our head, part of our peripheral system. So by exercising, we're actually pumping the blood to our head, to our eyes, to increase the oxygenation, the nutrition, to remove the toxins that have built up in the eyes so that we can improve the overall health. And this is why regular exercise is so important. We also know it helps with other factors like weight loss, controlling weight. It's just good for overall metabolic regulation and stuff like that. So exercise, really important. The first thing on my list for helping to manage your eye condition. So exercise. Now, what is exercise? Okay, so there are a lot of types of exercise. Okay, exercise. So we have strength training, right? That could be weights, that could be push-ups, that could be using bands. Anything that we're resisting gravity, so to speak, is going to help us with resistance in building muscle strength, and tendon strength, and connective tissue strength. Then we also know that there's cardiovascular exercises that help with our respiratory system and keep our heart healthy. So we need to do aerobic exercises to help keep the blood flow going. So this is usually like 20 minutes or so, walking, running, treadmill, aerobics, anything that's going to get our heart rate up to where, and we're going to hold it there for a certain amount of time. I usually like to recommend around 20 minutes of holding the heart rate up to a higher level to get that aerobic activity for the body. Aerobic meaning that we're getting more oxygen to our cells of our body. So then we also have stretching and mobility exercises. This helps with our functionality, our mobility, our day-to-day movements. Really important, okay? Then there's also conditioning. So there is interval training and stuff like that if we're kind of higher level athletes. So we can do these types of things as well. So again, in review, we're looking at strength training, cardiovascular training. We're looking at stretching and conditioning, things like yoga, Tai Chi, really good for those types of things. Also functional conditioning and mobility exercises to help with stretching and day-to-day activities. So these are all exercises that you can do. And if you're not really clear on what these exercises are, you need some help, then consider maybe going to a trainer or taking some yoga classes, or, you know, cardio is pretty easy. You jump on a treadmill or you go for a walk. But in terms of like using resistance training or stretching or things that are a little bit more involved with that, it's not a bad idea to go get some help, get some people to train you so that you're doing it right, so you don't hurt yourself, right? We want to make sure that you don't overstretch or overstrain or injure yourself. So bringing on a professional to help you with that could be really, really useful. So those are the things that we're really talking about when we're discussing the conversation of exercise as it relates as a strategy to manage healthy vision and maintain our vision. So I hope that's something you consider. Add exercise to your routine. My routine is to exercise every day. You don't have to do that. I recommend that we do something at least 5 days. At least move your body. Do something. Break a little sweat. Again, even if it's 12, 15, 20 minutes. If you want to do more, great. But just enough just to get your metabolism moving, get your blood pressure up, get your heart pumping, maybe sweat a little bit. It's a very effective way to manage stress and help your overall health. And again, we know this because we are focusing on our eyes, but our eyes are attached to this body that we have. So the healthier we keep our body, the healthier we're going to keep our eyes. Okay? So thank you for allowing me to share that time with you. And if you have any questions about exercises, feel free to reach out and we could talk about that. Thank you.